Woohoo! And we're live once again on another Tuesday. And I have a special guest in the house today who we just met for the first time backstage. And that's always kind of fun. It's like a little surprise party. And we are talking about a super awesome topic today, which is about showing up with confidence. And here we are showing up with confidence live today. So, Susan, could you please go ahead and introduce yourself? Just tell us who you are and what you do, and then we'll just get stuck in.
I will. I can. Thank you so much, Gillian. I'm truly happy to be here. Delighted to know about you. Have been following you since I learned about you and found you on LinkedIn. I'm Susan Axelrod, the confidence coach. I help women in the second half of life find and feel confidence in life and in business. Showing up in your authentic voice is the absolute basis, Gillian, of finding and feeling confident.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So, even though you primarily focus on women today, if we do have men watching, it applies to everybody, right? This applies to men, applies to women. Nobody's got a caveat. No sex has a caveat on, oh, we got this whole confidence thing figured out.
Well,
Maybe
actually,
though, is that not true? Are women a little bit less confident? Is there That was one of my questions.
yeah, actually, men sometimes show themselves to be more confident and think they're more confident and come across more confident. But I actually do have a number of men clients. And I focus on working with women because of my life growing up at a girls' summer camp, a women's college. I'm the mother of two daughters. I'm in a huge
Mm,
sisterhood of alumni from my college. But men are finding me. So nobody
mm.
has the market on confidence, even anybody who calls themselves a confidence coach, Gillian. It's not about being confident 100% of the time. It's about seeking the soul connection, which allows the authentic voice to come through, which applies to men and women.
I love that. I love that. And I would assume that we could be confident in some things, but not others. Like you might be confident in your ability to speak, but maybe not so much your ability to write because there's the grammar police in your head that says, oh, I think there should be a comma and a period and what's a conjunction and all those kind of things. And I think that it's a juggle. It's always a juggle with where does that confidence show up? And I think it's for everyone on the planet. It doesn't matter your age, your sex. It doesn't matter if you're working for someone else, you're running your own business. We all This is a battle we all struggle with. So my first question, Susan, I'm an introvert, and I have to ask you all. I can't speak for all introverts. I can just speak for myself. I always assume extroverts are confident and it's introverts that have the issue. Is that a myth?
It's a myth, but it is a very good question. And it's something that actually is something people frequently think. So the extrovert sometimes is extroverted to cover for the fact that they're not confident.
Ah,
Right. So sometimes people come across in such a way where they present themselves in such a way that other, especially people who call themselves introverted, which I don't accept that. I think introvert and extrovert are labels other people have put on us. And so how you feel comfortable in your skin is really what we're talking about. That's the basis of
right.
confidence. But even if you call yourself shy or introverted, you can still show up supremely confident if you're in your authentic voice. And I
Ah.
really invoke that because sometimes people who are extroverted aren't in their authentic voice. Do you know what I mean?
So why don't you just backtrack for a second and give us a definition of authentic voice? What does that mean, just so that we're all talking in the same discussion?
Yeah, my favorite topic. So, authentic voice is it's steeped in your intuition,
Mm,
which comes from what I call being connected to self energy, AKA your soul. So
Okay.
when you're deep in your existence, when you are a thoughtful, conscious, aware human, then you open and really allow all your years of experience, your
Mm.
years of wisdom to come forth. And that's where your authentic voice comes from. The lack of confidence, the feeling of unconfidence happens when we're speaking out about things that are not really in our intuitive experience. And likewise, as you, I think, I might wonder if you yourself have experienced, you've gotten more confident in the experience of doing your own LinkedIn lives, Gillian. The
Oh,
very
sure.
first day that you did it, you were not the most supremely confident. And now here you are showing up, able to be more, even more authentic in your own voice from this intuitive experience that you've had. Does that make
Yes.
sense to you?
Well, it does because I think that confidence, for me, my definition of confidence is recognizing my ability to do something. And as I learn more and more, I naturally feel more confident. So when I first started doing lives, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to do. What happens if this happens? There were so many what ifs. Well, I'm coming up to 100 lives. And
Mm.
at this point, I don't think I've encountered anything that I didn't realize, oh, I can handle it. And I think that that's kind of a motto I take to everything in life. Whatever happens, I can handle it. And that's not just business, that's personal. Whatever happens, I can handle it. Because you can draw on that wisdom that, okay, maybe I don't know what to do about this, but I have had this similar thing happen, and you make those shifts.
Exactly. And I love whatever happens, I can handle it. That's a confident stance, right? It's a confidence statement. It's a confident stance. And honestly, when it comes to life, one of the reasons I speak to women in the second half of life is a strange thing happens. You're going about your life, living your life, you're confident, but you come into what I call the second half, into your mid
Mhm.
40s, into your
Yeah.
50s, into your mid 50s. And all of a sudden, you look ahead and you don't recognize yourself. You don't recognize things
Mm.
as they were for the last 20 years. And that's how my Discovering You Again thesis came into being. Over the last decade, as I've been working in that area, I've been helping women with the new voice that they found find intuitive business space, which
Love
is
that.
now what you're in, the intuitive business, where you're showing up intuitively in that authentic voice we just discussed and going forward to grow your financial accounts from business confidently.
I love that. I love that. And that is a really great phrase, intuitive business space, because I think as we're, going about LinkedIn, especially if you're a content creator and you're making posts and you're doing all sorts of different things, whether it's videos or text posts or graphics, it doesn't matter. But I know a lot of times I'll I'll do something and then I'll, for just a flash, I might second guess myself and say, eh, I don't know, maybe that won't, like, is that a silly thing to write, or, whatever. And then I just go, you know what? I wouldn't have been given the idea to create this content if there's not someone out there that needs to hear it. So then I say, stop second guessing, hit the publish button, let's go. And I don't care about the vanity metrics. I don't care if 3 people
I
resonate,
love it
because
every time you say
you
this.
have
I'm
to
so
do that.
sorry. I love it. I've heard you say this, Gillian. I love it every time you say this because in my world, metrics and analytics, I get it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not an idiot, but it's perpetrated on people in striving to be in this
Yes.
authentic space. I completely agree. We don't do things, it actually is more unconfident to do things for the purpose of what are called metrics. I'm
Mm.
so with you on that, Gillian.
It's and you just feel that it's like that's part of confidence, is like moving forward, just knowing your message will resonate for the right people. And it's not for everyone. Everything I say is not for everyone. There's some people that like they just wouldn't even care for me. But that's okay, because I only have to reach the people that are needing to hear that message at that particular time. So that has helped with my confidence in being a content creator. Is it matters. And just to tell everybody, and it does really feel nice when people say, that really helped me. That really meant a lot to me. So I do that back to people. Whatever I feel could help me, I echo back to other people to let them know, I really enjoyed reading that. I really liked your video, or that article. Wow, really gave me some insight. So that does help build confidence. I think most of the confidence we build ourselves, but it sure helps to get good feedback too.
It does. And my good friend Nadine Searle is here, and your good friend Jeff Young is here.
Oh,
Jeff is calling out
pom-poms
calmness.
on.
Yes, yes. Calmness, is what comes from that level of confidence of which you just spoke. That you are literally articulating my market thesis of my intuitive business system, which I teach, which actually starts with vision, values, and voice. You've articulated all three of them. And in full disclosure, I said to Gillian, I hope you're growing your financial accounts through your business, Gillian, because you give so much. So the good news is she said, oh, I am, Susan. And this is important because confidence comes from these markers. One is the testimonials that you just said, the feedback that we get when people like my friend, Nadine says, you are authentic, Susan, you are intuitive. But also, if we're not growing our businesses, right, growing our financial accounts through our businesses, then that definitely leads to a lack of confidence. Am I doing it right?
Yes.
What's happening here? I'm not getting it right, right? This is absolutely vital. Part of the reason I do speak to women in business for themselves through my intuitive business system.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So can I just ask, how did you get into this space? Like, have you been confident all your life, or is it something you learned and said, okay, now it's my mission in life to like pay it forward by teaching it to other people? Sort of like what was your journey to get where you are?
Yeah, first, I was born into blessing. Honestly, I want to call that out. I want to acknowledge it. I was born into privilege. I want to call that out and acknowledge that. And then also, I have a journey, of course. Despite those things, I do have my own journey, which landed in an emotional breakdown, if you will, in my mid to late 30s, because yes, I have been confident since I was a young child. As such, I became a leader early. And as such, I grew like I acted old kind of early in my life, so that by my mid 30s, I had been old and responsible for a long time already. And that leads into the world of perfectionism, type A living. And I was. And then I did have an emotional meltdown that landed me in bed for 10 days with no peripheral vision. And that was a
Ooh.
takedown. That was a takedown of a sort. And from there, and other things happened as well on my spiritual journey. I did begin to look for what now you asked me, what does authentic voice mean? That's why I said all those things that I did is in my own, the intuitive business is based in your own authentic experience. And so I sort of found the space of working in the confidence business from some work I did with the great, wonderful, fabulous, and amazing Jen Lederer, who did a free 21-day video challenge, and some work that I did asking myself the question, what do people tell me when they work with me as a coach? And the single response that came back over and over to myself in my own analysis is, I feel more confident when I work with you. And that's where the confidence coach came from.
Got it. Got it. That's fabulous. That's fabulous. And might I just add, in case everybody does not know this, you go live every single day for
I do.
15 minutes, like at 5, live at 5 or something. You do 15 minutes. You just pop on. Do you schedule these, or you just like hit go and go?
I speak extemporaneously every single day. Now, again,
Wow.
I started this from Jen Lederer's 21-day video challenge, and that was 3 years ago. And but what happened was, in my own spiritual transformational work, which includes therapy, coaching, breathing, various modalities, being outside, growing my fitness muscle, so to speak, connecting in nature, and my own soul connection, all those things opened up what was in me to say and share. So,
Mm.
Gillian, I don't talk about content creation. And especially for you, I call what you do seminal messaging. I
Ooh,
call what
new
you
phrase.
do sharing messaging. It's not just content creation in the old paradigm of imposition of what all of that is. You're helping us, including me. I watch you, Gillian. I love your lives, including
Oh,
me.
thanks.
You're helping us. You're sharing what you've learned, what you've experienced, what's coming up intuitively in you for me to be better too. And so every day I used to do 15 minutes. Usually I make them shorter now intentionally. Although the best resonance I've ever had was when I spoke for 25 minutes, which is an interesting
Mm.
kind of thing. But yes, I go live every day extemporaneously. I'm in the confidence zone. And so I just don't know. I just I don't know. It just opens up, and I just
Love
want to
it.
share what is in me, to share that messaging to help people really talk, in a way that is stemming from their soul voice.
I love it. I love it. And to me, it's a really great example of your, basically your walking the talk or talking the walk, whatever that expression is, where you're doing the thing, because it does take confidence every time you hit that live button. Every time, it's like I can never eat before a live. My stomach's always like, but it is something to be able to say, "Oh, I'm a confidence coach," but you'll never actually see me, you know, pushing it and showing it. It's like it's very easy for me to just work behind the scenes, and I do a blog post now and then, and that shows I'm a confidence coach. But it's like getting out there and putting it on the line every day. It really does. It's a great testimonial to you, Susan. So
Yeah, thank you.
bravo.
Thank you so much. And Jeff is calling in two things that I want to make note of. I want to say thank you, Jeff, for being here. Is it Gahan? I'm not sure how to pronounce.
Jihan, Jihan.
Jihan. Thank you,
Just call her
Jihan.
G. Just call her
Gee,
G.
thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Jeff is saying trying to be perfect won't make you confident. Jeff,
Oh no.
100%, that is my experience. That's part of what led to my emotional breakdown. I'm human. I call it out because, especially what's happening in the world today, it's hard to show up. To be
Yes.
so right every day. So, Gillian, you said, showing up live, it takes confidence. I don't every day, I don't know. First of all, I don't even really know what I'm going to say. It's extemporaneous. And secondly, what you just said happens to me. I second guess, how did that go today? I watch my own lives. I know in your easy peasy video, you would tell people, watch yourself, right?
Yes, because you learn. You
You
learn.
learn, you have to watch yourself. And then I'm like, oh, my hair, my face, my makeup. What did I say? That didn't make any sense. But the impetus is the impact. So calling in my friend Wendy Lipton Dibner, impact is the business that I'm in. And you
Mm.
can't make that impact if you don't confidently come forward.
Absolutely, absolutely. So G says, I just sat through something an hour ago with branding expertise on all things. So much of this is subjective. As I always keep saying, we all have our unique offerings. And that's so true. That's so
Yeah.
true. And maybe Susan, then you would say that part of confidence, building your confidence, is really looking inside first. It's like you can't really express your authentic voice if you don't listen and even know that voice. And maybe that's the problem. A lot of us are walking around with, okay, this is how my parents raised me, and this is how people think I am, and this is how I should be. without really going, who's Gillian? Who am I? Who am I?
100%. And not only the parents, but now we got legacy in position as well, generational legacy. So Corinne just is like right on. Corinne, I don't know if you made your comment, which I'm going to share in response to something I said, but Corinne says, I have a problem with the word trying. I don't know if I just said trying, but I'm with you. I'm not about trying. Trying is such a trigger for me. I'm in it. Sometimes I fail. It's like, I do it. I show up. In this case, I show up live every day. Sometimes I fail. Even going live for 3 years, every now and then I forget my live. I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot my live or something. I
Life
just had
happens.
COVID. I just got over
Yes.
COVID. I didn't go live every day. I'm not, I'm human. I'm not going live while I'm sick with COVID. And
No,
so,
makes sense.
Corinne, I'm totally with you. I'm not about the word trying. I'm in it. I'm doing it. Sometimes I succeed and sometimes I fail. So I
Yes.
really wanted
Yes.
to call that out. Yeah.
And it's kind of silly, but I always think of like Star Wars and Yoda, and he was like, do or do not. There is no try. You're either doing it or you're not doing it. But really, if you think about it, it's like, well, what is the goal? If your goal is to show up live every day for 15 minutes and you do that to the best of your ability, and self-care should be more important. It's like
Right.
I got sick and I canceled one live when I got sick because I went, nobody needs a martyr. I don't have to have a giant M on my shirt that says, oh, on death's door she's going to show up. I said, you know what, I'm throwing up. I'm not doing a live
Exactly.
today, and I canceled. And
Yeah.
but the thing is that you just say, okay, so you show up. That's what it is. Is the live perfect? Well, no, but does it need to be? No, because it's the goal is to show up. And if
It
you
is.
do that, you've succeeded. There is no way to fail. You've
Yeah.
met the
That's
goal.
That's exactly right. In the intuitive business system that I created, the system based on my business, again, Jeff called out something before when he said, you're showing up in your own truth. So the intuitive business system I created came from my analyzing my own business growth. And
Mm,
then I saw what I call the 3 V's: vision, values, and voice. And the values is what we're calling in here. The
I love
values
that.
is self-care. And the intuitive business, the nature of giving voice and giving permission to your own intuition, which as women, I am going to speak to women in this case, is often stripped away from us early on in our lives. Once we're into the very young teen years, that
Yep.
intuition is often intentionally stripped away, right? They mock the women's intuition. I
Yes.
love the women's intuition. My entire business is based on it. And as you also have been talking about, Gillian, the way I show up is based in that. It's all built into my system to grow the business.
Yes, yes, yes. And here's Sarah Dodd. She's coming in from the UK. We've got everybody all over the world today. So we're totally out of order with the comments, but it's okay. So Sarah says, this is such good timing as I often feel low in confidence until I stop for a moment and give myself a little motivational talk. I love that because the self-talk, that's part of it, isn't Susan? The self-talk.
Oh my gosh, 100%, because the talk that we hear is often imposed from the outside. And so
Mm,
again, the intuition, the intuitive voice, the personal voice is the self-talk. I love you're giving yourself motivational talks, Sarah.
yay,
Yeah, that's
Sarah.
100% confidence inducing. Why wouldn't you do that? And also trusting your gut is another
Mm,
thing that is often stripped away from girls into womanhood. So there's a lot
mm,
that happens to us as girls that makes us suppress our intuition, suppress our gut. You're taught to be nice. You're taught to be polite, do what you're told, all these things. And that actually suppresses confidence because it stays, as I call, buried down in there. And so I'm loving this conversation. I'm loving everything about it, Gillian.
Me
Thank you
too.
so
Me too.
much.
We got some fans for Yoda. So Annette Richmond, she's in New Jersey. Yes, listen to Yoda. Listen to Yoda. Jeff says, "Smart you are." See, it's like you start the Star Wars, and it all falls apart. It all falls apart. Yeah, failure and success go together. So, what do you think? What do you think Corinne means by that?
Because Corinne was also the same person who talked about the trying, and I said, right, the trying, it's that no one succeeds, from the beginning. So I didn't coin the phrase failing forward, but I practice
I
it.
love that one.
Yeah,
Yes.
I practice it. So failure and success go together because you succeed from the little steps that you take.
I love it.
I also teach webcam confidence. It's one of the things that I teach. And so I, of course, also teach people, yes, you do have to watch your own videos, watch your own lives, pay attention to all these things. So some people say, oh, I cringe when I see myself. And I say, well, get over that because the only way that you will get to the success is through those little failures. So for full disclosure, right now, I don't like my lighting, Gillian. I'm in agony sitting here because my lighting isn't perfect. And so I know how lighting should be, but I'm having more fun with you. I'm in my impact space. So the failure of my lighting, which is very serious when you're in the video business, right, Gillian? Yeah, very serious.
Yep.
The failure of that is not going to prevent me from having fun with you, showing up in real time, in real voice, and really making an impact here today.
Yes. And by the way, your lighting's just fine because the focus on you is good. And I think the important thing is your message is obviously resonating with everybody here, which is that is the main thing. It's about our message. It's about our message. And that says, yes, many of my problems resulted from not trusting my gut. That is so true. And, I'm very woo-woo. I'm a very woo-woo kind of person. It's like, you don't live in Arizona and go to places like Sedona and stuff like that without being woo-woo. It's just part of your journey in life. And I'm very intuitive on everything I do. And if I have something where, for instance, a particular client comes my way, if I get an intuitive hit, and usually I feel my intuitive hits in my stomach that this is not a good match for me, I listen to that because I have squashed that before and I regretted it. I've always been paid back with like, oh, you're going to get this lesson until you start listening to that gut, Gillian. And so trusting your gut, that's huge. That's huge, Annette.
It totally is. Built into my intuitive business system are the 4 S's. One of the S's is system. And the system is to help your business actually sustain in a financially lucrative way. And so part of my system is I do a 60 to 90 minute discovery call, Gillian, free on full coaching discovery call because of what you just said. If somebody gets to work with me in a personal coaching engagement, I would need to know that I can really serve them in that coaching partnership. And so
wow, that's great.
Absolutely. I will spend all that time up front. And that's why my business has grown is people renew with me. I go deeper and deeper and deeper with people. And so trust your gut, Gillian. It will never steer you wrong.
I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Who has a positive voice in their head? Mine never says, Annette, you are rocking it. You probably need to talk with Susan then because it's like, you are rocking it. She is rocking it. And it's like, we've worked together and her content is like amazing. So we actually are our best fans. And that, you talked about people not wanting to watch themselves on video. And I always tell people, watch yourself on video and applaud yourself.
Yeah.
Say, wow, that was really fun. I loved when I made that funny face. That was really cute. And that was kind of a cool little thing. That's a tweetable what I just said. You need to learn to fall in love with yourself. And it's not being, egotistical or anything like this, but it's like we're all doing really good. We should celebrate our wins and celebrate just the things that we feel we did good. And yet so many of us will sit and say, oh, I said so 5 times. And I have that
Exactly.
habit of putting my hair behind my ears. We focus on the negative and let's accentuate our positive and celebrate.
Absolutely. This has to do with self-love. It all comes back to something that I rejected in my early mid-20s. I might be, to really being okay with yourself. I had a saying that I really changed my life, which was get okay with being okay. It's not that
Mm,
everything is always going to be okay all the time, although it is, but get okay with wherever you are. Just get okay with wherever you are so you can get on to what I call the platform of okay. And then you
mm.
can move up from there. And that self-talk, whoever just talked about the Annette, the
Annette.
self-talk, it is important. I do actually, like Gillian, say, Susan, you're rocking it. You're killing it here. What's happening? You go. And that stems from having this ability deep down in your soul, the soul connection that I call it, of loving yourself more.
Yes, yes. And realizing that we all bring that sort of special gift, not just to LinkedIn, but to the planet. It's like, it mattered that you showed up. It mattered that you showed up in this planet, in this time, whatever. And I always it always comes back to me for Jimmy Stewart and It's a Wonderful Life, and that we do make a difference, and we don't realize over the course of our lifetime how many people we affect all the time, that like we may never see them again, opening a door and just smiling at somebody. Who knows what that did in that moment for a person? So, this is just so important. So we've reached our 30 minutes. It just flies. so so Susan, can you leave us with some sort of sage advice that you'd like us to move forward? And of course, we'll go back and address everybody in the comments, and everybody, please go connect with Susan. Tell her you met her today through here. Check out her lives every day, 15 minutes or more. She's rocking it, which is great. This is great. So Susan, I'm going to let you wrap it up.
Thank you so much. This is so fun. Just keep doing what you're doing, Gillian. My website is whatwillyourlegacybe.com. My Facebook page is the same. What will your legacy be? And I am going to be offering a session in the fall on an introduction to the intuitive business system that I talked about. And that is going to help you feel more confident and grow your financial accounts through business. So Gillian, if anybody really, I'm making this genuine offer because I really love you and I love your engagement with your audience. I'm going to give a special discount to anyone who is interested in that. It's going to be a 6-part session actually in the fall to anybody who contacts me.
Super, super. And so what sage advice do you have for us moving forward with our day now?
Yeah, breathe more.
Mm.
It all starts from within. You're in control of your thoughts. And if you breathe more, you will open up the channels to be able to get control of your thoughts. And it's the emotions underlie the thoughts. That's where we start. That's where confidence comes from. One more thing, Gillian, I just want to remind people that I can be found in the KS Media Group app, which can be downloaded in your Play Store.
Oh, Super, super great. Well, pop that into the show notes, like
I
just
will
into
indeed.
into the comments. Put that in the comments, and then that way people. And if you can put the link, that helps people so they don't have to go searching and all
I
that sort
will
of stuff.
indeed.
So that's great. Okay, well, we're gonna say goodbye, everybody, and we'll see you back next week. And another LinkedIn Live. Got another guest lined up. Woo hoo hoo! As we close out June and. My goodness. And by the way, today is the first day of summer. So woo-hoo-hoo, summer
Yes.
solstice. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. Bye, everybody. We'll see you soon.